What is going on, everybody? Hope everyone's doing amazing. Hope everyone's feeling amazing on this fine Saturday evening or Saturday afternoon. So today, I'm using my phone right now because it's starting to rain right now, and I really did want to get this out. So I lost my train of thought because of that car. But anyways, so Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a Sunday. Friday was the day he laid down his life. Friday was the day that he finished his work. The day that he completed the task that his Father, our Father in heaven, tasked him with. Now, yesterday was an amazing day, Good Friday. I recently decided that I wanted to make my public declaration to show the world that I have given my life to Christ. I am no longer living for me. Now, I made that declaration within myself internally about 5 to 6 months ago when I started doing YouTube and I started kind of figuring out what it is that I wanted my content to be about, what it is I wanted my brand to be about, who it is that I wanted to glorify, whether it was myself and my own lifestyle or whether it was pointing people in a direction towards God. Because God is, I'll be honest, he's the reason why I've gotten past a lot of the things that I've gotten past. He's the reason that I was able to make it through a lot of the things that I have made it through in my life. He's the reason why I'm still standing. I'm still here. So I felt that it was only necessary for me to dedicate not only my YouTube channel or my brand, not only myself internally, but everything that I do to God. About 5 to 6 months ago was whenever I made that decision internally. I started doing God's work, God's will, expressing God's will to any and everyone who was open to hear me, anyone and everyone who was open to listening, as Jesus instructed. Now, during that time, I've come across a lot of different interactions, a lot of different things. I've learned a lot of new things, especially picking up a spiritual lens, because before then I used to look through life and look through the world, or look at the world through a physical lens, because I'm a human. If you're not taught about the spiritual realm, or you're not really pointed in the direction or guided to how to view your life in the spiritual light, then you're gonna view and interpret and perceive only what your eyes are picking up. But God didn't just create things visible to the eyes. He created things invisible. Like, what was it? Like Colossians 1:16 states that he created all things visible and invisible, heaven, earth, all things from thrones to kingdoms to dominions. He created all things and everything. We're only able to perceive the physical world if that's the lens that you choose to look through life in. So whenever I decided to give my life to Christ, give my life to God, I had this part of me that was kind of reluctant on getting baptized. And it's not that I was against the whole idea of getting baptized. That's not it at all. I, honest to God, cannot say what it was that was holding me back. Maybe there was something within me that I should have looked deeper within myself to see, but I mean, I was blinded. But that's not to say that I was like living on the fence or living worldly, you know. I was just plagued by maybe fear, doubt. Maybe I was afraid that if I showed that I dedicated my life to Jesus through baptism, that would seal the deal. And maybe I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to live up to that expectation. I wouldn't be able to maintain that covenant or that deal that I made with Christ whenever I gave him my life. Because me, I can't speak for everyone else, but me, I view baptism as a very serious thing. Now, I understand certain people believe that it's not necessary for salvation. Some people believe it is necessary for salvation. I'm going strictly off of what Jesus said. And Jesus said we have to be reborn of the water and of the Spirit. So being reborn of the water, although I was already reborn in the spirit and I did make that decision within myself to give my life to Christ, being reborn in the water, that meant that that was serious. And I recognized that and I felt that. And I didn't want to fall short. But as time went on, as I was doing this work, as my days where I would go through and not put him first as often as I should have, as those days would get worse and worse and my mindset would change from good to bad, I started to notice that my life was revolving around Jesus. My life was revolving around God. So it only felt right to make that decision to show the world that my life is his. There's not a single day this past half a year, it's just been half a year, not a year and a half, but this past half a year that I haven't consulted God at least once, at least twice, at least 3 times in my day for major things, for comfort, for peace, to relieve me from stress, to direct me, to guide me, to light certain instances or certain aspects of my life that were darkened. Every single day I've consulted with God, every single day. And I've recognized that there are major decisions in my life since this past 5 to 6 months that I've only made because it was him. I've only made because of him. I wouldn't have been able to make them on my own. And if I would have tried to, then it would have just led to stress. That's what I figured out this past year, or this past half year. So I made that decision to take the plunge. Yesterday, April 18th, Good Friday. And I got to say that experience that day, yesterday, was filled with many different emotions. On one side, I'm mournful. I'm filled with pain, sorrow at the fact that this is the day that he died. This is the day that he laid down his life. This is it. And to top that off, to add to that feeling, I watched, and I do recommend this if you guys haven't seen it before. It's a little 10-minute anime called My Last Day. And it depicts Jesus in his last moments. From him being tormented and tortured, being insulted and embarrassed, to him being crucified, to the thieves that were up on the cross with him. It depicted all that. From one thief tagging along and joining in the world and embarrassing him and calling him out, mocking him. And then the other thief believing in him, putting his trust in him and being saved right there on the spot. So there's that side of the coin. But then there was also the flip side of the coin where I realized that, hey, this is it. Today's the day that the old me dies. Today is the day that I lay my life down for Jesus, to be born again through him, through Jesus. That wasn't, I don't know. I'd say the best way that I can describe that feeling was I was nervous leading up to it because I made that decision on Wednesday and I had a church reach out to me for an event that they were having to where they were going to be doing baptisms, right? Now, I was excited when I got that call and they kind of walked me through the whole process. Then Thursday came and I was still excited, but not as excited. Not because I regretted my decision or nothing like that. I was just I can't describe it. It was like a anticipation, like a school day. You know how, because that Thursday night, I could not sleep. I did not sleep. It felt like a school day, first day of school. You're not super excited, but you're anticipating. You're wondering how this is going to go, how this is going to feel, what it is that I'm going to feel. Will this be everything that I imagine, everything that I've heard of? Will it be less or more? I wasn't drawing any kind of illustrations in my head or nothing like that. It was just me trying to wrap my head around the idea, you know? So Friday came, and Friday, it kind of shifted from anticipation or excitement anticipation to a nervousness anticipation. But not nervous in I'm afraid, because I've done many things that most people would never do. Most people that my bad, I heard something cracking. Sound like someone was walking through the woods. But I've done many things that most people would never even think about doing, right? So it wasn't nervousness out of fear. It was more so, like I said, nervousness out of anticipation, because I knew what was coming. My spirit knew what was coming. And I was nervous, but I was ready, if that makes sense. So as the day got closer and closer, I kept looking at my clock, and I realized that time goes a whole lot slower whenever you're looking at the clock, focusing on the number rather than being in the moment. So I decided to take a nap. Before I took a nap, or after I woke up after my nap, I wanted to jot down my feelings and how I was feeling. And let me read this out to you guys. So I wanted to jot down how it was that I was feeling. What it was that I was feeling, the emotions, my thought process, all that, right? So I was getting baptized at 7. I was told through a message that it would start at 6. So in my head, it was at 6. We did arrive at 6, but it was a whole little event, a whole little worship with the church that was going to baptize me, Connections Church, which I am very blessed to have met everyone that I did. Thank you guys for being so welcoming. And y'all are truly blessed. And I felt blessed being there and being baptized in y'all's presence. So thank y'all. Truly, I felt the spirit there. But 4:38 p.m., I wrote, I just woke up from a nap. The things I'm feeling right now is nervousness. Before, when I got the call Wednesday, I felt excited, with little to no nervousness. I'd even go as far as to say that I was ready to get baptized that day, LOL. Eager to make that official declaration, my public announcement of dedicating my life to Christ after 5 to 6 months. Now, as time gets closer, I feel nervous. Not nervous in an unsettling way, but nervous in an anticipation way. As nervous as a person can be who has accepted death, or at least accepted, quote unquote, death in a figurative way. I am in no way talking about the kind of death that Jesus died when he laid down his life on this day. No, I'm speaking of death of the old me. The death of the old me, the old Stan, along with it. The death that is necessary in order for a new life to begin, in order for a new person to be reborn, not physically, but outward to the physical world. The death that is spiritual. It's 4:49 now, and time for me to get ready to experience this death and rebirth that only Jesus gave me the ability to enjoy, to participate in, to experience, in order to show outwardly to the world that I am his and he is mine. Thank you, Jesus, for all you have endured so that I may have this honor today. So that was at 4:38:39, as I read. Now, 7 p.m., I wrote down 7 p.m. because that's the time that baptism started and I was the second to go. So I wrote down 7 p.m., but this was after the fact, after the whole worship service, which was about 8:30 p.m. Now, I was filled with many emotions. I didn't really jump and hoot and holler, nothing like that. I didn't really become filled with tears or nothing like that. I just felt peace. When I rose up out of the water, I felt peace. An unexplainable peace, like imagine holding your breath for as long as you possibly can. A big old inhale. And you're holding it till you can't no more. And then that exhale comes. And you just feel it in your whole body. That's what it felt like my spirit did. It felt like my spirit just exhaled. Like it was ready to step into the identity that Jesus ordained, that God ordained, that I was meant to be. That's exactly what it felt like an exhale. And the peace that came along with it was like nothing I ever expected, nothing I ever felt. And I had confirmations from people, which I feel God was just using them to confirm that he was proud of me. And that's the words of someone that came up to me. And this is my first time ever going to this church, being around these people. And they were very beautiful. Their spirits were very beautiful. Their personalities were very beautiful. Their smiles, their greetings, everything about that place, that environment was beautiful. Now, as I'm standing in line to get baptized, a guy pulls me aside, leans up to me, into my ear, and I give him my ear to listen. And he said, God said he's proud of you. Now, I didn't catch it at first, but then I thought about what could he have said? And then I realized what he said. And I felt only he knows how I felt. I can't even put into words, y'all. Like, it's beyond human comprehending, I'd say. So whenever I got submerged and came up, I felt peace. I knew this was the decision. And then me coming out of this water and seeing how my brother reacted, seeing how everyone was happy for me as if they've known me all my life. Getting I'm proud of you, someone looking at me in my eyes and telling me that I'm proud of you. I've never met this person before in my life. But the emotion that I seen in his eyes as he said that, and this was a separate person from the person I just spoke of, but I felt like I was looking into the eyes of, can't explain it. But after I got submerged and I came up, we stayed for worship a little bit. And after that, it was about 8:30, got in my car, and my brother was driving, but I got into the car and we headed home. I decided to jot down how I was feeling afterwards. And this is what I got. That's it. What I got was at 7 p.m., I was submerged, died, and buried. Although my whole body wasn't placed under the water, I was filled with peace, clarity, so much that I couldn't even get myself to leave after my baptism like I planned. And I'm speaking about how, like, initially I was planning on getting baptized because I wasn't expecting it to be a huge event. I thought they were just going to say a small little short sermon and people were going to pray, worship a little bit, and get baptized. But it was much bigger than that, and I'm not complaining at all. So, what was it? I was submerged, died, and buried. Although my body wasn't placed under the water, I was filled with peace. And I mean, my whole body wasn't placed because my arms weren't, because I kind of sat on my knees and went under, and my arms were me being tall and trying to dunk. And I'll show the video, but I'm a tall guy. Tried to get down on my knees because my legs are too long. So I did get baptized, just not fully. And I just wanted to jot that down, you know. But I was filled with peace, clarity, so much so that I couldn't even get myself to leave after my baptism like I had planned, which was because I wanted to get home and either read the word and relax. But after being submerged and seeing how my brother reacted, I felt it was necessary to stay. Like it was being placed in my heart and spirit to stay. So that seeds may be watered and planted, and so that signs may be confirmed. I haven't been in a rush to find a church family, but that church gathering, which was much bigger than I anticipated, definitely felt like home. I plan on going to the service this Sunday with my brother because of it. My brother is open and willing to come to, and I am praying that he hears something that fills his spirit with fire so that he and I both can begin working on my mother. I am truly honored to experience this today with my mom and brother. Although I wish my grandpa and grandma would have been here to see it, it was definitely a great feeling knowing that I was being used in a way to lead by example. I also want to add that I am unsure whether that was confirmation or what, only because I've only heard about things like this but never experienced this myself. But as I was waiting to be placed in a group, I showed up later than a few of the other baptism members. But I had someone from the prayer group approach me and say in my ear, God says he's proud of you. I also get congratulated by someone who was waiting by the tub and I got baptized in. That I got baptized in. And that congratulation, he said, was heartfelt like no other. He had tears in his eyes and I felt it. Now, that was my experience. Can I say that I'm happy, that I'm proud, that I feel like a new man? Yes, I can definitely say that I do not feel like the old me anymore. I feel peaceful, at peace with everything around me, my situation, my circumstance. You guys may not know, but I'm in between jobs right now. And it's getting close to that time of the month where bills are due. Now, before this week, I was starting to stress, applying everywhere left and right to jobs and things like that. But this week, things have began to fall into place. And that baptism just sealed the deal. It allowed my spirit to finally rest in the identity that I was supposed to be, the identity that Christ ordained. Took me a really, really long time to realize this, but excuse me. I am not who I say I am. I am not who you think I am. I am who he says I am. That baptism yesterday sealed it. It showed me that this is what it is. This is what it was. This is what I was looking for my whole life. To be who he said that I am. Step into that identity. And yesterday I felt like I did. I still feel like I did. And I am who he says that I am. So I just wanted to come on here and share my experience. I truly hope my words touch someone. I truly hope someone felt these words, felt God's spirit, just felt how he has changed my life and how at peace I am. So much so that I had to get this video up. Normally I have my lavalier mic, MK2 mic hooked up, but it started to sprinkle a little bit. Thunder started to roar. So I figured, you know what? I'm getting this video done. I'm speaking on this because I have to. It's necessary for me to speak on this. And I don't have time to set up, but I'm going to get this video done. And I want it to be out in nature, one with God's creation. So here we are. The air even feels different, you know? I feel one with it. And that may sound crazy, but if you know, you know, I'll say. But again, I do hope this touched someone out there. I hope whoever's watching this, whoever's listening to this, uses this as confirmation that, hey, if you've been on the fence of giving your life to Christ, go ahead and do so, my brother. Go ahead and do so, my sister. You won't regret it, I promise. Actually, I don't want to promise because I'm trying to work on that. But take my word for it. It will change your life. Truly. It will change your life. It's been Staying on Earth. Hope y'all have a blessed rest of y'all's weekend. Y'all enjoy y'all Sunday, Resurrection Day. The day that it was officially complete. The day that he came back. Y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. Enjoy being around y'all's family, y'all's friends. Enjoy being in the presence of God. Keep God in your life. Keep stepping into the identity that God ordained you to be. Into the man and woman, boy and girl that he envisioned when he created you. I hope y'all go out there, stain the world in a positive way. Leave y'all's mark in a positive way. Keep on pushing, keep on trucking, keep on moving forward. Keep on following God. Let your faith be bigger than your fear. And walk by faith, not by sight. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay true. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.